Back at it with the ISO on the Gonzaga Nation Media Network. I'm your host, Dan Dickau, where before each Gonzaga game, we try to get a chance to talk with the opposing head coach. Uh, Now we get a chance as we lead into the PK 85 on the legacy side of the bracket to talk with Gonzaga's opposing head coach for their first round matchup. From Portland State, the Vikings leader, Jase Coburn. Jase, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, you and I actually just had a chance to connect less than a week or so ago when I called your Portland State game at Oregon State on the Pac-12 network. And you guys, as a Big Sky upstart, went into Gill Coliseum and knocked off one of the big brothers in the Pac-12, Oregon State Beavers. Give us a little bit about the mindset going into playing an opposing, I don't want to call them a giant like Oregon State, but an opposing bigger program, because you got to have I would imagine, a chip on your shoulder in how you prepare.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it starts with recruiting first and foremost, is that we've got a lot of guys here that have a chip on their shoulder. And, and so, they want to prove to the world that they're good basketball players, but more importantly, they want to prove that they're a good team. And so everybody's willing to do their part, and whatever the game plan is for that night, everybody's willing to sacrifice for the better of the team. And so that's really exciting. It's been a lot of fun to coach so far to this point. And we just, focus on getting better every game, no matter who we're playing, because we're in this for the long game, and we know that it's a marathon. We got to be playing our best basketball in March. So we kind of just look at it one day at a time, and not really who we're playing, but that we know that we have to get better.
When you talk about not knowing, not necessarily who you're playing, but how you're playing for the long haul, obviously you've got an enormous challenge ahead of you in the sixth ranked in one poll, number 5 ranked in another, Gonzaga Bulldogs. But you welcome that challenge. I've looked at your non-conference. You try to schedule as difficult as you can. You guys played in the PK 80 5 years ago. When you look at this Gonzaga matchup, where does your mind as a coach gravitate to as far as needing to prepare the most?
I mean, obviously this is going to be a great test for us, right? This is probably going to be the best team we play all season. And we know that. So, it's a really exciting opportunity for us to measure up, and to play against such a good program that's got great tradition and great history, to see where we want to get to one day. So we'll go out there and compete and have a good time, and we're excited though. We're excited to play it. And with our schedule this season, I mean, this is probably the hardest schedule we've had since I've been at Portland State. With just the amount of teams that we're playing in non-conference, and obviously our conference will be really good. So but yeah, it'll be a good early test for our guys, and I know they'll be excited to play.
It will be a great test for you guys, but to be honest with you, I think it'll be a good test for Gonzaga because, they're a little bit of contrasting styles. They've turned it over more than most typical Gonzaga teams early in the season. That's your calling card, is defensive pressure and turning opponents over. You guys try to force around 20 turnovers a game, and you've done that a couple times early in this season. When you put together a game plan and a scouting report on Gonzaga, what's at the top of the list without sharing too much?
Well, I think you hit it on the head. It's kind of funny. I woke up at 3:00 in the morning last night and looked at how many turnovers they had turned the ball over. I don't know why that hit me in the head at 3 a.m. when I was sleeping, but I woke up and thought about that. I think a lot of this is, especially when you're in a format of being in a tournament, a lot of it is that you have to be true to yourself and do the things that you do well. And obviously game planning wise, you're going to try and take away some things that the other teams do well, but ultimately we need to do what we do best, and stay true to who we are. Like you said, for the long game, but also because, these games are going to be such quick turnarounds that it's really important to stay true to who you are.
It's a different turnaround in a tournament where it's 3 games in 3 days, as opposed to your typical rhythm of a season where most conferences play on a Thursday and a Saturday. You start putting in your early prep for both teams Monday, Tuesday. You really focus on the Thursday opponent Wednesday, and then you kind of have that gap in Friday to prepare for Saturday. How do you as in your program prepare for 3 games in 3 days?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing, about our team is we do have a lot of depth. The guys that have been coming off of our bench for right now have been really good. Our starters have been good. So, we've got a lot of depth, I think, to be able to play 3 games. So I think it starts there with our players being talented and playing hard, and we're able to maintain that throughout the whole entire tournament, hopefully. And then, our assistant coaches do a good job of staying ahead. I try not to look too far ahead and to try and figure out who we're going to play later on. I just try and take it one day at a time and focus on the next game.
Well, you guys out of the big sky don't have a chance to play too many of the blue bloods, but you will schedule them when you can. In an event like this, you'll play Gonzaga in the round one, and then you'll either play Butler, or excuse me, you'll play West Virginia, or I'm
Purdue,
drawing blank out of a blue.
Purdue.
Purdue, that's right. But one of the best coaches in the country, and Matt Painter at Purdue. You'll play Purdue or West Virginia. How much does it mean for you as a young coach to be able to kind of go up against some of these bigger names that you as a competitor, and I've seen you coach on the sidelines, you want to test your philosophies, you want to test your scouting reports. How much does it mean to you?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you always want to try and get out there and play against the best and coach against the best. And obviously Coach Few is, one of the best of all time. And then, moving on, further down the road in the tournament, yeah, you're coaching against some of the best coaches in the country. And I have nothing but respect for our opponents. And it's not just these games, it's any game. Like I just full heartedly believe in respecting your opponent and and doing the best job that you can do. But yeah, it's awesome. Like I remember when we played Duke 5 years ago and Coach K was out there, like it was just, it's an awesome opportunity to try and get out there and prove your worth. And, but at the same time, like, I know that deep down, I need to be there for our team more so than me battling another coach. I just want to be there for the guys and give them the support that they need and try and pull out a victory.
You touched on playing against Duke in the initial PK 80 5 years ago. Portland State was on the verge of a monster upset. I believe, if I remember correctly, you guys were up at the half, and then you also played, I think it was Butler and somebody else tough in the tournament. Give us a quick recap of how that initial event went for the Vikings.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It started, we played Utah State on a Monday and won. And then we played Duke on a Thursday on Thanksgiving and battled them. I mean, we were up at half. It was a pretty good game. So I think with about 7 minutes to go, and they kind of pulled away. And at that point, they were number one in the country. And our guys just wanted to go and prove that they belonged. So I remember thinking after that game, like, how are we going to get up and play Butler tomorrow? Like, there's no way. I was like, dude, we just gave it everything we had against Duke. And then the next day we woke up and had a chance to beat Butler, and we missed a 3 at the buzzer and ended up losing by 2. And then I remember thinking after that game, there's no chance we're going to, be able to bring it again against Stanford. And then, we got down early, but then came back and won. And so, that team was a special team. Coach Peary, did a great job with that group, and the players were a special group, and they were, they were a real family. And they played really well in that tournament. So, it'd be good opportunity for this team to get out there this time, and prove that they can do the same thing. So, we'll see where it goes, but, I'm excited for our guys to have the same opportunity that our team had 5 years ago.
Jase, there's another unique kind of connection point between Gonzaga's program, Portland State. Former Zag Ryan Edwards looked like he was done with his eligibility, and then he decided to play one more year for your Viking program. Played in the PK 80. He was a unique player. I think he didn't get the chances in Spokane that maybe would have presented themselves at other places because he had NBA players in front of him, and that was Ryan Edwards. Give us a little bit about Ryan Edwards.
Yeah, Ryan was really good for us. He came here and was, excited to get the opportunity to get some playing time. And I remember just going to the PK80 event, and he was like the biggest guy in the tournament. So it gave us like some confidence, I think, to be like, yeah, we belong here. Like, we have the biggest guy in the tournament on our team. So like, it was awesome. I mean, he was an ultimate teammate. I know over there, he was a great teammate, and here he was the same. And, he provided a lot of stuff for us here as a player and as a person, and just his experience being in Gonzaga and making it all the way to the Final Four and all that. I mean, that was tremendous to add him to our team back then, just because, it gave us credibility, and we had a guy on the team who could say, hey, I've been there. And, and our guys listened to that. So yeah, he was a huge dude. Like, he was enormous. And with our style back then, we were pressing the whole time, and we put him in the back of the press, and he just walled off the basket, and people were throwing up crazy layups to try and get around him. And it started fast breaks for us. So, and he was a tremendous player here for us. I saw him last year at our Eastern Washington game, and he was awesome. So, yeah.
You talk about the experience of the initial PK80. You're in the PK85 on the legacy bracket. And when you're out recruiting, I can only imagine you use these experiences of playing Duke to the wire, of beating a Stanford, of being in an event like this. How does it help the Portland State program being in one of the elite preseason tournaments of the year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it helps a lot, being on a national stage on ESPN and playing against some of the top teams in the country. And, but with the group that we have, we wanted to make sure that the guys, and, we got a lot of new guys, and the guys that we brought in, we wanted to make sure that they wanted to be part of a team that was going to play in this event, and not necessarily have it be an individual showcase for somebody. So, and I think we did a really good job of that in recruiting and with the team that we brought in and the guys that we brought in. And so, yeah, I'm really excited for them for this opportunity. But for sure, I mean, being able to be on the national stage is something that, could happen once in a lifetime. So, I know they're excited.
For fans who are listening to this podcast or watching this podcast that haven't seen Portland State play, give us a really quick overview of your team. You're deep. You're willing to go 9, 10, sometimes 11 in your bench. You a lot of times will play 4 guards. You're willing to shoot threes. You've got some good pieces in Jarrell Satterfield, Isaiah Kirby off the bench, Cameron Parker as a point guard. Give us an overview of really how you want to play in a little bit of your roster.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely an interesting team because we got a lot of different guys who can do a lot of different things. There's probably not anybody on the team that's the same as another guy, and it was designed that way. So, a lot of times we can throw out bigger lineups, we can throw out smaller lineups. We can throw out guys who can shoot, we can throw out guys who can drive it. So, we can change styles within a game. If we're in a game and playing fast and we think we need to slow it down and go a little bigger, we can do that. If the game's too slow for us and we're playing bigger, then, we can adjust and play smaller and play faster. So, and that's kind of our identity really, is that, we can play a bunch of different styles, but defensively, yeah, I mean, we're going to try and get after it, and pressure the ball and play defense and rebound. And then, hopefully we have an opportunity to go. So, I think our guys really enjoy playing the style that we play, and it's a fun way to coach. And a lot of it too is my personality. I'm a pretty intense, passionate guy. And so, that's the way we play.
Awesome. Well, Coach, I appreciate the time. It was great to see you in Corvallis a few days back when you knocked off the bigger school in the Oregon State Beavers. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck against Gonzaga, as well as the rest of the PK85 and the Big Sky season. So thanks for joining.
Yeah, appreciate it.